Hi everyone, in this video we are doing the counting the days tag. I was tagged by Emily, so thank you Emily for tagging me, and please do check out her channel, which I'll link below. Now this tag was originally created by Ruben and another Emily, and I'll link both their channels below as well. Now the gist of the counting the days tag is to talk about books on your TBR that excite you in different ways. So for me, I'm going to talk about books that are fairly recent to my TBR or books that are on my TBR that I don't think I've mentioned yet on this channel. All right, so let's get into it. Now, the first prompt is, what is a book that excites you based on its cover? For me, that's The Catalog of Unabashed Gratitude by Ross Gay. Now, I bought this at a bookstore in Asheville, North Carolina last year, and the cover honestly just jumped out at me as well as the title. This is a collection of poetry, which I don't read often, but I'm really excited to read this book, and I need to move it to my bedside table, so I'll maybe just read a poem or a night. So hopefully I'll get to that in the fall. Next up is a book that excites you because of its author. That would be The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer. Now, this is a short book and it will be published soon. And if you have followed me on this channel even for a little bit of time, you probably know that I love Robin Wall Kimmerer's writing, especially Braiding Sweetgrass. And when I found out that she was creating a book about the serviceberry, I was just super excited. This book looks at the serviceberry tree and also the ethic of reciprocity that lies at the heart of the gift economy. And I just thought that was such a fascinating premise, and I have a serviceberry tree myself that is on my balcony, so I am excited to read this book. Now, what's a book that excites you because of its premise? That would be Dear Science and Other Stories by Catherine McKittrick. Now, this book is a creative and rigorous study of Black and anti-colonial methodologies. Now, personally for me, when it comes to my field of archaeology, I am in this process of decolonizing what I've learned. So it's a lot of unlearning and re-educating myself on the archaeological record and our approach. So I came across this book because I was having a conversation with a friend from grad school who is now a professor in a university in town that's having a soon-to-be established Black Studies department, and she raved about this book, so I immediately put it on my TBR. Next up is, what's a book that excites you because of its style? So for me, that's Raised by Wolves, and this is a series of poems from authors who have published through Grey Wolf Press. And what's interesting about it to me is that in addition to the poem, you get an essay response by different members of the Grey Wolf Press community and their reflection on the poem. And I just thought that was such an interesting way to perhaps read and maybe better understand poetry. So that's a style that stuck out to me that I'm excited to get into. Next up is a book that excites you because of its influence. I think for me, that's Rules of Civility. I've just heard so many booktubers talk about it, especially booktubers I really enjoy and follow. So I want to see what the hype is about. So that's on my TBR, and I hope to get to that relatively soon. Next up is a book that excites you because of its emotional weight. For me, that would be Behind You is the Sea by Susan Moaadi Duraj. This is a novel that centers around the diverse experiences of residents in the Palestinian American community in Baltimore. Now, the emotional weight of it for me comes from the fact of what's happening to the Palestinian people in Gaza right now. In addition to educating myself about what's going on and donating to causes that I feel could help, I felt it's also important to read Palestinian literature. The second aspect of emotional weight for me is because this takes place in Baltimore, which is where I live. So for those two reasons alone, without even diving into the themes of the book, that already has a lot of emotional weight for me. But I think it's really important to read, and I'm excited to do so. Next up is, what book are you excited to read because of its humor? So for me, that's Strong Female Character by Fern Brady, and I recently added this book to my TBR. It's a memoir on sexism and neurodiversity by Scottish female comedian Fern Brady. I specifically want to consume this as an audiobook because I heard her narration is fantastic and hilarious, so I'm excited to read this book. Last up is a book that you're excited about because of its challenge or difficulty. For me, that's Ghostwall by Sarah Moss. Now, this book is a novella that centers around Sylvie and her family as they attempt to live like Iron Age Britons. You might be wondering why this might be challenging or difficult for me, and that's because the genre is horror. I really don't read horror because I get scared very easily and I can have very vivid dreams at night. And yeah, horror and I don't mix too well. However, the fact that there's this archaeological aspect to this book has me so intrigued, and I feel like I can approach it because it's a novella, so I won't be in it for as long, even though I'm sure it's gonna pack a punch. So maybe I'll read this in October. So I'm excited to read it. I just have to find the time where I'm mentally ready to read it. So that's all for the prompts, and now it's time to tag some folks. I would be really curious to see what Scotty Cherie reads, Dantasy, and Beguiled by Books have on their TBR. So I'm directly tagging them, but consider yourself tagged if you're watching this video, and feel free to make a video yourself or let me know in the comments your responses to one or all of these prompts. Thank you again to Emily for tagging me. I really enjoyed your video. So if you haven't checked out Emily's video on this tag yet, I'll link it below. And if you're curious or you just really enjoy tag videos, here's another tag that I did right here. That's all for this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.